Hi, my name is Jessica Clary, and I'm an electrical engineer at Schneider Electric. I'm here today to help you discover the world of engineering. So welcome to the wonderful world of engineering. What do you picture when you think of an engineer? I'll let you think about this for a couple of seconds, but when somebody says the word engineer, what do you think of? Did you picture any of the people on this slide? An astronaut, a CEO, some nerds maybe, somebody that works on computers, even Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory. Engineers are people that work on buildings, work in IT, somebody that works on circuit breakers like I do with Schneider Electric. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my career path to becoming an engineer, as well as what I do on a day-to-day basis. So, a little bit about myself. From kindergarten to 12th grade, I loved math and science. I'd always want to be a pediatrician or an open heart surgeon. In high school, I had the opportunity to work in programs that allowed me to go to a hospital to experience things in a nursing home, and I got my certified nursing assistance. I also had the opportunity to take courses and get a licensing in being a pharmacy technician. I loved volunteering at schools and doing different activities to help get kids involved in STEM programs and just to mentor. In doing this, I came to a crossroads when picking my major. I was wondering if I wanted to be a teacher or continue to go to medical school. That's the summer before I started college. I visited my cousin. He worked for GM at the time, and I went to learn all about what engineers do. Building cars, working on electronics. This seemed like an awesome world. And I thought to myself, if I want to go to medical school after, that's an option. Or I can go and teach kids about math and science and share my passion. So that summer, decided to continue and study electrical engineering at the University of North Texas. You heard me right. I'm originally from Texas. After graduating, I started my career with Schneider Electric, and that relocated me to Columbia, Missouri. When in Columbia, Missouri, I worked as a quality engineer. From there, I got promoted. I got the opportunity to move to Cedar Rapids and become a product engineer. Um, and working as a product engineer, it was using more of my mechanical skills. So I decided to start a new position as an electronic hardware engineer. I'll go in a little more into detail on that in just a moment. But aside from being an engineer or a nerd, as I love to be called, I definitely have interests outside of work. I love friends and family, going out to barbecues or going hiking and camping. I love to travel, and work has definitely given me this opportunity. I've been all around the world, from China to Spain to France and Mexico. And again, I'll go in a little further in the next slide. But what's most important to me are STEM programs. I love going and mentoring and sharing my story. And if I could just motivate one of you to becoming an engineer, or at least study engineering and maybe going down a different career path, I feel like that is a success. So a little bit more about my career as an engineer. I started as a quality engineer in Columbia, Missouri. I was in the manufacturing plant responsible for big circuit breakers. These circuit breakers are what helps protect buildings and people. I was in charge of circuit breakers that get installed in football stadiums, in data centers, in schools, in hospitals, as well as some that are installed at homes. As a quality engineer, I worked in a cross-functional team with teams in China and Mexico. One of the big supports we had was from China. I had calls at 6 a.m. in the morning, so their evening, and sometimes I had calls at 8 o'clock at night. And that was if we were having production issues or to brainstorm solutions. Because of my opportunities, I had the chance to visit China. I got to see where we built our breakers there and gain an understanding of the issues they were seeing. We collaborated and found solutions, and we all were working towards the same end goal. Because of all the work I did as a quality engineer, the product engineer was like a next step. Relocating up here to Cedar Rapids, I became the owner of one of our FA product lines as far as design. If our manufacturing facilities had any issues, they would contact me, and we would take our products into labs, and we would actually get to do worst case scenario and blow stuff up. It is so cool being an engineer. You have the opportunity to test things to the limits, come up with ideas and solutions, and test them out to make sure that they work. So while as a product engineer, I also got to work a little bit on electronics, so communicating circuit breakers. If you see the breaker, the big breaker on the bottom corner, you'll see an electronic trip unit. So all of the cool stuff that goes behind there that allows the communicating to a system. And so data centers can monitor where they're having issues, where they need to send somebody for support, if they're meeting all of their goals for the year. So as a product engineer, I got to go on trainings. I got to go to France where our experts are located, and they got to show me designs and go into greater detail and explanation. I really enjoyed that training, and it helped learn different cultures. I also got to go to a team training. So as a product engineer, our teams are located in France, in Europe, and in China. So our team training that year was in Barcelona, Spain. So I got to do a lot of traveling as a product engineer. When I transitioned into my electronics engineering position, I really got to focus in on what I studied in school. As an electronics engineer, when I changed positions, I now work on the miniature circuit breakers. So these circuit breakers can be found in a gray panel that's also displayed in the bottom corner. And that gray panel can be found, can you guess where in your house? Where have you seen this before? Maybe in a basement, maybe in a garage, maybe even in your kitchen. So these circuit breakers you have in your house are to protect from fires and from electrocution. I get to work on the electronic side, so what we call the smart breakers. So these breakers have to trip at certain speeds to make sure that you are safe. So I got to do some testing. I ordered some appliances and I tried to test them to their limits to see how they interact with our circuit breakers. Wonderful opportunities and always learning. And that's something as an engineer I continue to do and I strive to do. You can never stop learning. And if you ever stop learning, it's time to move on to the next thing because being an engineer is always learning. As an engineer, I work with a lot of cross-functional teams. Industrial engineers help to build the equipment, to build their circuit breakers, to help put out a quality product. Working with a labeling group to make sure that everything on our breakers are labeled properly and keeping everybody safe. Purchasing is awesome. Love working with them. They help me spend money, get all the equipment that I need. When I was purchasing appliances, that was fun. Of course, marketing. Marketing tells us what our customers are looking for. If they want something to protect them with higher voltages or amperages, that's when we go to marketing. And they also give us deadlines. If we're working on a project to bring to our customers, they say, hey, Jessica, we need this by the end of 2020. So I know that I need to develop, test, and maybe redevelop and output a product by the end of 2020. And of course, manufacturing. They are crucial to our business. They are what helps us get the product to the customer. They are front of lines, and they help us to make sure we put out a quality product. As an engineer at Schneider Electric, I started my career in Columbia, Missouri. And in the picture that you see on the slide, that is my first home away from home and my first family away from family. Schneider has definitely given me a wonderful opportunity to grow and learn so much. Now that I've told you a little bit of my career as an engineer, I want you guys to become an engineer. So let's deep dive into becoming an engineer. So as engineers, we would love to have $1 million and all the time in the world, but that's not always the case. Sometimes we need a product tomorrow. Sometimes we need a product next year. So that's when we're given deadlines. So some constraints that you're going to have for your project are time to market. So when you guys are your engineers in this upcoming project, you're only going to have a limited time to work. Then there's going to be some costs. So how you guys are going to work with costs are you're going to have limited materials. And then functionality. So you're going to have an end goal. You're going to want to meet what marketing, am providing you. So today, you guys are going to engineer catapults. You heard me right, catapults. We're going to engineer something that will shoot marshmallows or pom-poms. So let me go ahead and give you the rules, or what we would call the design constraints. So for this project, try to find 12 popsicle sticks, or maybe 12 straws, something sturdy. If you need to substitute, please substitute as necessary. 12 rubber bands. Also, this one can be substituted as necessary, but this would be very helpful in your design. And then 2 disposable spoons. And the reason I say only 2 is because we don't always get, we may have limited quantity, so we have to do what we can with what we have. So I highly recommend a pilot and a final run. For these runs, you want to launch marshmallows or pom-poms, or make maybe little balls out of paper, and see who can shoot the pom-pom or the marshmallow the furthest. Something that would be really fun is to make this a competition. Maybe make it a competition with friends, or maybe with family. Or if you don't have anybody close by, maybe do a video chat and see who can do it. And the goal of this is to see who can build the strongest catapult, to see who can have the object go the furthest. So here comes some more constraints. You want to set a timer. You want to spend about 2 minutes in design. Maybe think it out, talk it out, work in a group. Working in groups is great. It's teamwork. You're always going to have that as an engineer. So spend about 2 minutes to throw around some ideas. Then spend 10 minutes to build your catapult. And in that 10 minutes, maybe do a couple of pilot tests to see how well it's working. Maybe make some quick changes. After you build it, you can spend some time testing it, and then give yourself 5 minutes to make any corrections that you see fit. And then after that, go for a final test and see how far you go. Before you do, when you're doing your prototype testing, make sure you mark and see if maybe you make an improvement with your final product. All right, so let's begin. Go ahead and pause your video right now and set these time limits, and then come back because I have some more stuff to talk to you about. All right, so let's talk about lessons learned. Did you learn what works and what may not work? What was your favorite part? Did you work in teams? Did somebody have an idea that you thought was crazy, but it ended up being the best idea? Did somebody have an idea that seemed too easy, but that's what went furthest? What did you learn from this activity? So something else that I want to share with you are some cool engineering tools or games. Snap circuits. I love snap circuits. That's my go-to gift for friends and family with kiddos, and even teenagers, because you get to try out electrical engineering. Goldie blocks are awesome. There are definitely different series out there, and when we go to STEM events, we bring them with us. Arduinos are great to start programming, and there are definitely many forums out there for you to try and see if programming is what you want to do. And you never know, you might come out with an invention that you can use around the house. And STEM kits. STEM kits are awesome, and they get you thinking outside of the box, and definitely be creative. Just a heads up, all of these items can be found on Amazon. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I definitely hope you consider being an engineer.